Hello, and this is favorite podcasts and episodes of the first half a year of 2020. So I used to do like once a year. I'll do it twice a year, maybe even once a quarter, but I don't think there's enough yet for it to be once a quarter. So that's what we have. We have the Brett Weinstein Dark Horse podcast. There was only one episode number 9. About life and death risk in the era of novelty. Next podcast, we have the Business Daily by BBC. It's interesting. Sometimes they have good analysis, good short episodes, about 20 minutes each. You have the psychology of panic buying. Coronavirus, where the joint up thinking. Life under lockdown. Coronavirus in Africa, and how can Africa emerge from lockdown. Some interesting podcast, mostly related to coronavirus, as I've seen here. And from the Dan Carlin Hardcore History Addendum, there is one episode number 11, Toronto Redux. Was interesting. Next one we have Econ Talk. We have Kimberly Clausing on open in the progressive case for free trade. Melanie Mitchell on artificial intelligence. Marty Makery on the price we pay. I actually read that book. It was interesting stuff. Yuval Levine on A Time to Build. I read that book too. It was not the best. The book was not the best, but the podcast was actually good. Taylor Cohen on the COVID-19 pandemic. Jenny Schultz on land regulation and the housing market. That was an interesting episode. Robert Pondinisio on how the other half learns. Actually added this podcast, his book to the list. I might read it someday. Sounds an interesting idea. Next podcast is Hidden Brain. We have Creatures of Habit. Passion Isn't Enough. The Choices Before Us. Our Better Angels. Next podcast is Philosophize This, episode number 137, episode number 139, episode number 141. I really like him. He's a great guy. I think Stephen West is his name, the Philosophize This guy. And very short, straightforward, usually about 20-25 minutes, packed. Usually I think I listen to it a little slower than I listen to other podcasts, because it's super packed in information. He's also talking super fast. And interesting analysis, interesting topics, and quite broad. So I really like this podcast. This podcast is Planet Money. They also have some good stuff. Episode number 962, Advanced Fairness at the Marathon. Episode number 963, 13,000 Economics. First question, episode number 968, The Trouble with Table 101. Episode number 826, Vodka Proof. Episode number 980, The Fed Fights the Virus. A lot of Planet Monies. Episode number 985, Where Do We Get $2 Trillion? Episode number 993, Negative Oil. Episode number 995, Buybacks and Bailouts. That was interesting too. Episode number 1000, episode 1000. That was an episode about how they make Planet Money, which was interesting. Next podcast is The Daily by the New York Times. You have The President and the Publisher. The End of Privacy as We Know It, ? Why This Recession Will Be Different. And A Kid's Guides to Coronavirus. Moving on to The Indicator from Planet Money. It's about 10-minute episodes. Short. Sometimes it's like not the best, but sometimes they have good episodes. Dueling Indicators Stock Market Edition. The Rise and Fall and Rise of NASCAR. And Healthcare and Economic Despair. This one is the Jordan B. Peterson podcast. There is episode number 40 and episode number 42. This one is The Journal by WSJ. The movie that might change Hollywood forever is Trolls. Airbnb host built mini empires, now they're crumbling. Is banning certain events the key to reopening? Why Minneapolis police reform failed George Floyd. That's actually got out just today, and even though it's supposed to be next half a year, but whatever, get in. It's actually really, I like the journal. It's about 20 minutes. Usually very well written, well done, and they usually have good episodes. Next podcast is the Denali Project with Shane Parrish. Episode number 73, Exploring Curiosities. And episode number 79, Esther Wikaki, The Trick, Raising Successful Kids. I read the book. The book was like a high 3, and there's a book review if you want on my channel. But that podcast was really interesting. She has some good ideas. Next episode is the NPR Politics podcast. Candidates jockey for position as Sanders' alternative ahead of Tuesday debate. And weekly roundup, May 22nd, 2020. Apparently that was a good, maybe there was like a good analysis or something. That's what you usually like. Then we have the Tim Ferriss Show, Lori Gottlieb, The Power of Getting to Unknow Yourself. I read the book, really good book. The book is Maybe You Should Talk to Someone. And then we have episode number 431, Howard Marks on how the US dollar, 3 ways to add defense and good questions. Then we have episode number 407, Sam Zell, strategies for high stakes investing, deal making, and grave dancing. It was an interesting podcast about investing and how he sees investing. Interesting guy, Sam Zell. We have from the WSJ What's News. It's mostly news, so it's hard to like, but I do like. There's 2 episodes a day of the WSJ What's News. There is only one episode I like. Is the death of George Floyd sets back police reform in Minneapolis. Came out just today when I take this. And then there we have WSJ Your Money Briefing. Grocers versus big food companies for control of shelf space. That was an interesting one. Then we have grocers were not prepared for the pandemic. And then we have giving a family member a loan the IRS wants to know. So this is for the first half of 2020. Those are the episodes and the podcasts that I usually like. There is other podcasts that I listen to, but none of them, or none of the episodes were good enough to be a favorite. That's it. Thank you.